According to legend, a horrific short story called Cowhead was discovered in Japan in the 17th century. The actual origin of the story is still shrouded in mystery. Several written accounts on this era make reference to the awful story, but they only mention its title and describe it as a tale too terrible to tell. Rumor states that upon hearing the dreadful tale, listeners were overcome with a terror so great that they trembled violently for days until they finally died from fright. The Cowhead story was deemed too dangerous and most existing copies of it were burnt years ago. The few copies that survived were cut into sections and distributed across the country. Today it is believed that only fragments of the original story remain in existence. Most of the actual details of the story remain unknown to this day. The unfortunate people who read the story never lived long enough to repeat it. One recent rumor tells of an elementary school teacher who inexplicably came into possession of some fragments of the original Cowhead story. According to the rumor, the teacher was taking his class on a school trip. He was in the habit of entertaining the students on the bus with ghost stories. The students, who tended to become unruly on long trips, grew remarkably subdued as they listened to the teacher's horrific tales. Many of them seemed truly frightened. After some time, the teacher announced he would tell them the legendary forbidden tale called Cowhead. Before he could finish the first sentence of the story, however, the children began to panic. "Stop," they cried. "Don't tell us." One child turned pale and covered his eyes, and the others began to scream, but the teacher refused to stop. They say his eyes went blank and he proceeded with the story as if some unseen force had taken over his mind. Almost an hour later, the teacher regained his senses and found that the bus had crashed into a ditch. The students had all fainted and were frothing at the mouth. The bus driver lay slumped over the wheel, sweating and shivering. It is unclear what happened next, except that the teacher never told the Cowhead story again. And that is all for today's video, my little bunyips. Liking, disliking, sharing, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell is completely up to you. I hope you all sleep well tonight. Have sweet dreams. Good night.